Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Tiffany from McDonough Public Library, and as promised, I finally have some nonfiction books with me today to tell you about. Now before you go anywhere, because I said nonfiction, hold on, these books are actually pretty fascinating looking, and I do want to say that nonfiction is probably the most interesting collection overall, because if you think of a topic that you're interested in, you could just search it, and then boom, in nonfiction it's probably somewhere, and you can find those answers to things. I also want to say that lately a lot of book publishers have made these nonfiction books more appealing, so they capture your attention and they just hold you in and you want to read more. So, just to prove my point, I am going to go through this video, and why don't you hang around and see if you at least agree a little bit, or there's one of these books that catch your attention. Okay, so I'm going to start with a biography of a football player who turned into an artist, or actually he was an artist the whole time, but he pursued his dream after his football career. So this is Between the Lines by Sandra Wallace and illustrated by Brian Collier. What I'm going to do is I will read the insert so that way you can see if you'd be interested in this book. As you notice, let me put this back up for you. It does look like a picture book. It's even kind of the standard size of a picture book. And inside, let me open up a page. Inside, you can see it's illustrated. So again, it looks like a picture book, but this is true. It's about a true, real person, and it's informational. It's the story of his life, and then at the very end, it becomes more like a nonfiction text where it tells you that information. So let's read this book and see if it is something you're interested in. An artist paints his own reality. Ernie Barnes. When Ernie Barnes was growing up in North Carolina in the 1940s, he loved to draw. Even after he played with his friends, he would draw in the mud with a stick. And he never left home without a sketchbook. He would draw the junk man, families walking home from church, or the old man on the sofa. He drew what he saw. But in the segregated South, Ernie didn't know much about making a living as an artist. Ernie grew tall and athletic and became a football star. Soon, enough colleges came calling. Still in his heart, Ernie longed to paint. Would that day ever come? Ernie Barnes was one of the most important artists of his time, known for his style of elongation and movement. His work has influenced a generation of painters and illustrators and can be found in collections in museums such as the California African American Museum, as well as the African American Museum in Philadelphia. So, if you would like to read a book about a real person who went from a football career into artistry, then you can check this out. Or if you just want to see a historical African American figure, because again, he was one of the most influential artists for his talent, then you could check out this book and see if it's for you. All right, up next is another historical account. It is by the author who wrote Number the Stars and The Giver, and it's set in poetry. This is On the Horizon, World War II Reflections. Each person has a place in history. Two-time Newbery medalist Lois Lowry reflects on her own in this moving account of the lives lost and forever altered in the bombings of Pearl Harbor and Hiroshima. Drawing on the stories of real people at Pearl Harbor and Hiroshima, as well as her own memories, Lowry introduces readers to the only set of twin sailors aboard the USS Arizona, a Japanese child folding origami cranes in the wake of the unfathomable horror of the atomic bomb, and even her own grandmother. Through each piece, this stunning work in verse contemplates humanity and war, sings with pain and truth, and emphasizes the importance of empathy in bridging cultural divides. In turns haunting, heartbreaking, and uplifting, On the Horizon searches for the commonality and connection and will remind readers of the horrors and heroism in our past while offering hope for our future. So again, this was Lois Lowry's On the Horizon. And I will give you a sneak peek at the inside. It is in poetry verse, but again, this is nonfiction. These are real historical accounts. So if you like poetry, or if you like people's personal experiences through historical events, then this might be perfect for you. All right, we are going to move on to something that is going to look pretty entertaining. This is National Geographic's Kids' Weird But True Know-It-All Greek Mythology. Now, I know some of you might be, Greek mythology is not real. Why is it in nonfiction? Well, that's an interesting question. Greek mythology, as well as fairy tales and folk tales, all is part of cultural history. So they're compilations that get put together. Originally, this was it was orally spoken and nobody had written it down. Well, eventually someone wrote it down, and they have decided to keep it in nonfiction when classifying it because it was a cultural historical storytelling. So keep that little tidbit of information of your nonfiction knowledge. All right, but let's talk about this book. I actually checked it out and read it. It is at times hilarious, and I love Greek mythology, and there were some things in here that surprised me, and I know a lot about it. But I'm going to read the back for you. Want to be a know-it-all? You might know Poseidon as the Greek god of the seas, but did you know that he also credited with creating the first horses? So on the back, here I'll show you sample of the art. Poseidon was credited with creating the first horses. You might know Artemis as the goddess of the hunt, but did you know that she also helped deliver her twin brother Apollo mere moments after she was born? These classic stories from Greek mythology come to life in this latest installment in the Weird But True Know-It-All series, featuring Zeus, Hades, Athena, Poseidon, Artemis, Hercules, Prometheus, and many more. From the god who gave mankind fire, to who stood guard at the underworld, to famous fatal flaws, this book covers all the iconic Greek myths and key characters, along with this wonderfully weird and surprising bit of tidbits. So, highly recommend this book. I hope I see it checked out soon. All right, we're going to shift gears again, and this book is back into more realistic setting. It is about dentists. So we have a set of community worker books, and so delivery drivers, dentists, farmers, firefighters, librarians, nurses, police officers, teachers. But I wanted to show you the inside of this one. It is part of the Cody Koala series that Abdo publishes, and you can pop the book open for the QR code and get even more information that is not listed in the book. So if you are doing a project over community workers, this set might be perfect for you. All right. I'm really excited about these next two books, guys. The first one is the Bee Book. Now, I know this might sound weird, but I love bees. They are responsible for so much in the world. I'm going to read the back, and then I'm going to open it up and show you some of the inside. What's the buzz about honeybees? What do they do all day? Why are the bees important? Find out why bees need our help and what you can do. So this is a DK book, and DK has some amazing books. Informational text on the inside. And this just makes, even if you don't like bees, it makes you want to kind of read about them and know about them and find out how in the world these little tiny things can make such an impact on our lives. So hopefully someone checks this out soon. All right, the other DK book is Look, I'm a Scientist. So if you like books about doing experiments, this thing is so cool. You were born with everything you need to be an awesome scientist, an amazing brain, and super senses. Get ready to touch, smell, see, hear, and taste your way through scientific amazement. Find out why water turns to ice in the freezer, what makes slime super gloopy, how to make the biggest bubbles, and much, much more. So again, I'm going to brag about the DK books because they have such cool things inside of them. So a table of contents here will tell you what page all of these neat experiments are on. It will explain what it's talking about in the back with all of your senses and how you will be using them with this book. And then it will give you some really cool experiments like the slime one right here. So hopefully you find this interesting and we'll check it out soon. All right, for the very last one, we are going to go back to our traditional nonfiction. I wanted to include these in the series because a lot of us can't travel right now, and we want to know more about the country around us. So we have received our state set. I have Texas, New York, and Ohio right here, but we do have all 50 states. If we don't currently have them, they are coming very, very soon. And one thing I found fascinating that just proved the point to me that nonfiction is so interesting is I'd found out, I did not know this at all, but New York was established in 1788. That was 200 years before I was born, exactly. And so I thought that was interesting, so I opened it up and started reading more. We really appreciate books like this because it can tell you about places that maybe you can't physically go to right now, but maybe you want to go to in the future. So you can do a little bit of research. It has some really cool things inside, like it will tell you the contents, will tell you about some quick facts, what the weather's like, what animals live there and plants you can find, some history, and then some fun little trivia facts. How their transportation works, any sports or entertainment that's famous there. And so you could find out all you want to know about some of these really cool states. Okay, that is it. I hope I have convinced you of at least one cool book that you want to check out from our nonfiction section. I will be doing another graphic novel video soon, as well as another picture book video soon. So I will see you then. Hope you have a great day. Bye!